What's up, you guys? This is HJ here, and in today's YouTube video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to upgrade your RAM in your HP Victus laptop. Now, before doing so, I have it powered on and it plugged in for demonstration purposes because some people will typically leave their laptop on or with the cord plugged in, which I don't know why anybody would do that. We risk damaging the components that way. So today, for demonstration purposes, I'm going to walk you through the whole full steps. So the first thing you want to do is you want to unplug the battery or unplug the charger. It's going to flash like that because mine is on eco mode. If your thing is set to go to eco mode automatically, unplug it and hold it in the unplugged position for 3 seconds. Let that screen flash. That's going to lower your refresh rate and put it into eco mode. So then you can close out all of your tabs that you have open. And this is just for it's really not going to damage your memory, I should say, but it's mainly just for my convenience because it makes sure that everything is cleared out. So when I boot the computer back up, I'm guaranteed not to run into any issues. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that if you have any peripherals plugged in, the base is not going to matter if you unplug it because the base comes off without going through your peripherals, so to speak, and so the ports are not blocked by the case. So you don't necessarily have to unplug it, but you probably should do that just in case, and you should always shut down your computer. Now, ignore the Decepticon stickers and the G.I. Joe stickers. I am not a Decepticon, but in case you were wondering, the HP Victus, the feet, they do not hide the screws. So this is going to make this job a whole lot easier. So I have this particular screwdriver set. You can pick this one up from the Dollar Tree. Here's the sizing chart. I am using the 1 out of 16 inch screwdriver. That's the type of screw head that these screws take. And you can get this, like I said, you can get this kit from the Dollar Tree. It's a really cheap kit. And it has all you need to open pretty much all of these types of screws. And you're going to unscrew it. Be careful not to strip the screws. If you do, you'll mess up the base enclosure. You'll have to get another one. Those are not always cheap depending on your laptop, so keep that in mind. If you don't know what you're doing and you still struggle with it, I would get a professional to do it or a family member that knows how, or I would consult the service guide from HP on how to do that. They do have videos for that on YouTube. So once you have unscrewed the entire base, I'll show you guys how to pry it off in just a second. Get these last 2 screws here. Okay, I'm going to take that out. Do this last screw in the corner. And the reason why I'm very careful about opening this particular base is because while this base is not covering the ports, the base is indented like the HP Envy. It's indented into the bottom, and with the fan being at the rear and with it not being a solid crease, it's a hollow crease where the fan is on the back. I think I'm describing that properly. You guys can see what I'm talking about here, how it goes in to the bottom crease right here where the fan is, and it's not really that solid. So when you try to pull it out, it's kind of at an angle, so you have to be really careful when you open up the base from that angle. What I like to do is I like to go this little bottom corner piece right here where the top part of the base, the back part of the base, and the side part of the base intersect. And I like to start, I like to start by pulling it up from there, so then it won't cause any issues. Now don't do what I just did, because I'm trying to hold the camera and do this at the same time. I don't have a camera mount that can sustain this, so please be patient with me as I try to open this up from the corner here, which, if your thing is at an angle or your tool is curved and bent, it might be a little bit easier to get into it. However, that's not necessarily a requirement, and if you can get your fingernails under it, which I probably can't right now, fingernails are too short, you might be better off to use the base tool to open it. You can use a guitar pick too. I'm just using this plastic screwdriver tool because this one's already bent and it's at an angle where I don't have to worry about it. So now I have most of it open, so I can just start playing. It'll just pop off like that. Now you see that I have 16 gigs installed already. If you already have 16 gigs and you want to go for 24, most people say that dual channel makes a difference. It does if you're doing photo and video editing. If you're doing gaming, it really doesn't matter. And I only know this because we actually study that stuff in IT for my college program, and they'll tell you, yeah, the dual channel only really matters if you're doing anything that requires a graphics, or like a really graphics intensive program that's made for photo and video editing. Then you'll start to see it matter, or if you're doing programming or anything. But if you're doing gaming, it's really just straightforward. So mine is now 24 gigs. I didn't disconnect the battery. Some models you will need to disconnect the battery. If you just want to do it just to, you know, be safe, have peace of mind, you know, you guys can do that. That's up to you. Another thing to keep in mind is they don't have an SSD connector for SSD 2. I did install a terabyte. And if you do that, you will need to clone the drive. Honestly, I find it easier to just do a clean install because most of your data is not going to be there anyway. So there's really no point. And so now I'm just going to put the base back on. And something else to keep in mind, if you want to go for 32, you will need to replace both sticks with 16 gigs. And the Intel model is more suited for 64. Granted, it'll say that it's capped at 32, that it's not supported. Many Intel models say that, and they can still go up to 64. It just might not be stable. It might be stable. It's hit or miss. For AMD, if it's 32, it's 32. So don't try it on AMD. So I have AMD, so I'm not going to worry about doing 64. If it's Intel, you probably can get away with it, but if it's AMD, like I said, 32 cap. If it says 32 cap on AMD, it's gonna be a 32 cap regardless. So just know that when you guys try to upgrade your computers, what the difference is gonna be in those Intel versus AMD processors and the boards that they use. It also depends on the manufacturer of the board. So if the board manufacturer says, hey, we're going to say it's limited to 32, but we're not going to cap it at 32, then you guys may have to go look at the board itself to go and see. So I'm going to screw this back in. It's only going to take me like about a couple seconds. If I can get the screw to go in. Hold on a second. I'm just bend down here. Get the screw in here. Just like I should. And if you guys have a hard time getting the screws in there, you guys can use your tool, assuming you're not holding the camera like me, to kind of guide your positioning. Make sure it's in there properly and at the correct angle, and then just screw it in tight. You guys will need to press down on the base enclosure to make sure that the base enclosure doesn't have any openings in it or any small gaps in it whatsoever. And the reason for this is because let's say your computer drops from like a short distance, because it probably can survive. The internal components might get messed up if there's a gap in the base enclosure because there's nothing there to reinforce it. So just keep that in mind as well. Now I'm just going to try and get the screw in here, which is being freaking stupid. Sorry. Excuse my language there. Okay. Grab this other screwdriver here. I'm just going to screw this back in. Trying to be a little bit patient with myself here. Trying not to cause any issues. Okay. All right, any day now. Ah, here we go. Got it. Okay, that's that one. 2 more to go. Okay. And let's get this one in here. And then that one's in. The corner ones are always the most tricky. If you can do the corner ones first, I would do the corner ones first. They're always the most tricky to get inside the base enclosure. All right, now like I said, press down. See, you guys heard that pop. If you guys could hear that pop, you heard that other pop. That means that there were some gaps. You want to press down lightly, but not too light around the edge, so you guys don't hear those pops anymore. Yep, there's more pops, so that means it was not fully secured. Okay, now it's fully secured. Now you're gonna pop this thing over on to its right side. Careful not to damage it. Do not plug it in until you've turned it on, because like I said, new components, and when you do power it on, it may take a little while to boot. Mine is going to take about a couple seconds. It's still registering the RAM. It's got to calculate how much it has. Some computers will tell you if you've changed the RAM in the BIOS, it'll pop up in the BIOS and say, hey, your system memory's changed. Dell computers are good for that. I know that because I have one. They'll tell you in the BIOS, you know, hey, your RAM's changed. Do you want to continue? If that happens, just hit continue. In this case, it won't. It'll pop up. I'll hit the login screen. Don't you see my pen? All right, now I'm going to go to Task Manager and verify to make sure it's been updated in the system. If not, and we have to go back and redo it. If so, then we should be good. Click the Performance tab. There we go. 24 gigs of RAM. All right, and there you guys have it. There's your RAM upgrade. Like I said, these tools can be found at the Dollar Tree for like $1.25 now, because it's not $1 anymore. And if you guys don't live in America, I don't know what the equivalent to a European dollar store is or an Australian dollar store is. I don't think they have that, but if you do want to live in America, you guys can pick up this tool set. Again, here's the sizing chart. I used the 1/16 inch, the 1/16 hit inch Phillips head, I think it's called, yep, and the 1/16 inch flathead to pry it open. That's the sizing chart. And so if you guys need, and if you guys buy it, it does come with a sizing chart, so you guys don't have to worry about that. I'm just giving you guys that information for your benefit, so you guys know what type of head you need if you already have the screws at home, screwdriver set at home, then you guys will know what size to use. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like if you did, and subscribe if you guys have not already, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.